So Trump did an interview with Elon Musk yesterday. Did you know that? Um, I didn't know it until it was halfway through recording that it was even going on. It was kind of funny. By the time that it got on my radar, people were already clipping videos of it and saying how much of a disaster it was. So I kind of wanted to, it was morbid curiosity got the better of me, and I decided to check in on it and give it a little listen. Well, it was it was worse than I could have imagined. Um, Donald Trump was like slurring his way through it. It was really, really weird. Like it was. I'm talk. He sounded like this. He was doing this a lot. I mean, from my understanding, he doesn't have dentures, so I just don't understand why he was slurring so much. It was really weird. Um, Also, just like the actual content of the interview was just insane. um, yeah, Elon Musk is not exactly what I would call a expert interviewer. He totally agreed with him on almost everything. So, no pushback on virtually anything. He did not control the interview at all. This my favorite part was Elon was trying to wrap it up for a good 40 minutes. And every single time Trump didn't take the hint and he just kept going. So I thought that was kind of funny. But I pulled up this article here because it is a great summary of exactly how bad it was. This article comes from Politico. Um, yeah, full discretion. Viewer discretion is advised. We're using Politico. Um, Politico is a little biased, especially during the Biden coverage. It was showing pretty hard because every other story was about cognitive decline and nothing about Trump. And Trump was getting a bunch of just like fluff pieces. So yeah, that was fun. All right, Elon Musk guaranteed entertainment. He delivered technical difficulties instead. Does that sound familiar? I'm not sure if you guys know this or remember it, but back in March, which feels like years ago at this point, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis decided to go and do an interview with the same guy, Elon Musk. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure that was like the launch, like the big launch of his Twitter Spaces or X Spaces or whatever the hell they're called now. It was plagued with errors and honestly, just from a layman's point of view, having these Twitter discussions where it's just your little avatar, yeah, not exactly what I would call very compelling video, but it was funny. It was apparently yeah. All right. So Musk planned to host GOP nominee Donald Trump for an interview live on X, formerly Twitter Spaces, at 8 p.m. But for the second time in 2020 in the 2024 presidential election, the social media site was glitchy and many users couldn't listen to the interview. Here we go. They're going to start blaming it. There it is, a DDoS attack on X. There is no evidence of a DDoS attack, and from what I have gathered, no other streamers had difficulties. So, take that for what you will. The interview started about 45 minutes late, which it was kind of funny. Just some of the commentators that I was watching, they were ready to call it at by the time that they actually started the interview. From my understanding, they just were ready to go, and then the interview went long. So, I mean, heck, I didn't even get to bed till, past 11. So, yeah, I mean, ooh, that's kind of I like being in bed by 11, like, at that age now. Anyway, the swirl of posts about technical difficulties echoed Musk's previous X Live event with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Gee, it's almost like it's a pattern when he does these things. Who launched his Republican presidential primary campaign on X Live on an X Live interview with Musk. As appeared to happen with the Trump event, the site's live stream portal, which is audio only, crashed. Again, an audio only. Like, again, full disclosure, my computer is hanging on by a thread, but you're still a good computer, trust me. I'm not going to talk bad about you. But I still have a video on it. Like, granted, I don't host, you know, a lot of people. Well, any people at this point. It's sorry. I'm assuming all the Trump supporters who ridiculed DeSantis for the crashing of Twitter Spaces with Musk will do the same here. Ha 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 ha. With clown face emojis. Again, the fact that there is just definitive proof that Donald Trump was making fun of Ron DeSantis for the same problems, and then he's sitting there red-faced just like, I don't know. Oh my gosh, it must be foreign entities. The Iranians are coming for me. Did you just hear that they hacked me? Well, here it is. All right. Okay, so this is kind of funny. I did a Winnie the Pooh impression for my friend, and all of a sudden these are popping up. Kind of funny. My computer was off, too. Ugh, creepy. Yeah, if you like targeted ads, I mean, I have an ad blocker on, too. That's how powerful these are. All right. Musk posted ahead of the event with Trump that he was going to do some system scaling tests tonight and tomorrow in advance, but these precautionary measures couldn't save the platform from crashing. Again, you had this planned, and you're the head of Twitter. How can you not have all of your sources allocated to making sure that this went off without a hitch? You know, you would think that they would shut down other rooms or just allocate power. I mean, I don't know how that really works. I just know, like, from a smaller scale where if my computer starts running a little slow, I close things out and delete things. Not sure if that's how it works with him. All right. Trump's campaign spokesperson... Whoa, I don't know what that was. Trump's campaign spokesperson claimed that the GOP nominee Musk were breaking the internet. Oh my God, they broke the internet. Except they didn't. They broke Musk's website. They didn't break the internet. The rest of the internet was fine. Musk's interview with Trump was supposed to be the third in a series of 2024 presidential candidates who have interested the tech mogul this year. But Musk has now pledged to put his full support and X-Feed real estate behind Trump's third campaign. The multi-billionaire has the potential to boost Trump's re-election chances with contributions from his personal fortune and mobilizing his devout online followers. Okay, again, how is this not election interference? Like, you guys always, like, the right loves to tout election interference and just all of these things, but then they do blatant election interference and they're just like, nope, we're fine here. Nothing to see, as long as we win. I mean, it's the same with purging voter rolls. Like, the fact that it's happening to Democrats, and mostly Democratic voters, should worry the crap out of everybody. And also, it should mobilize us to start working our local elections, especially if you, if you're left of center or if you're, a leftist. That would be a great thing because, this goes back to the primary. Locally here, I live in a pretty red area of a blue state, of a blue, bigger, wider blue area. But because of that, like, all of my election workers were, I'm going out on a limb and just saying that they, were definitely leaning red. I get there, I sign my name, and this guy just makes a little comment. And I didn't really think anything of it, like, when I did it, because I was just like, yeah. He's like, oh, your signature actually matches your signature. I'm like, yeah, what about it? And then, like, I even went into a little story about it where I'm just like, yeah, you sign your name enough times, it just becomes second nature. And he's just like, well, I've been seeing lots of signatures just not match up. It's kind of weird, It's like, all right, well, I should have just asked him to sign his name and then show me his signature, just to put him on the spot, just be like, hey, show me how much your signature matches yours consistently. Again, if it's like me, then yeah, it's going to be pretty consistent. But from my understanding, people's signatures change over time. But now that they're purging voter rolls, I actually like looked it up. I was just making sure. I'm like, okay, are they going to try and purge me? And while I was doing that research, I actually did find out like that's the reason they moved my polling station. They moved my polling station deeper into a red area, making sure that we didn't have easy access to our polling station. It's not from money. Like, that's the craziest thing. It's definitely not a money issue. We have plenty of money in our village. So this was done deliberately to make sure that we don't swing this area blue again, because we have a lot of younger people moving here, and it's starting to adjust, the demographic a little bit, especially in, the area I'm in, where it's just like, man, I still can't believe how red it is. But, sorry, I kind of stone locked there. My point being, they're definitely playing the long game, and they're already laying it out like to question your vote any way possible. So, and they're trying, like, that could actually be voter intimidation, because again, like, really? Like, you're going to sit there and just be like, better make sure your signature matches, otherwise I got the almighty power to challenge your vote. Which, the last time I read the Constitution, inalienable is there. It's considered an inalienable right. We need to either redefine that word or define that word for the people that just blatantly want to take our rights away. Again, love how that's the Republican Party. Like, again, just so consistent in their belief system. All right. When the interview finally started with about 1 million people tuned in to the live stream, I'm really good at reading. I'm sorry. Trump and Musk discussed the assassination. I'm not even going to read that because it was annoying. Like, he just went right into it. And again, Trump, Mr. Consistent, I'll only talk about this once at the Republican National Convention. I will bring everybody together, and I'll only talk about it once. I swear, I'm not going to make this all about me. Well, yeah, that's exactly what he did. And he did it in such a way where he's just like, it was terrifying. It was absolute, but you know what? I have my convictions about me. Yeah, and then he was talking about the war in Ukraine and Russia had zero chance of happening if he was there. Yeah, except here's the thing. He would probably be committing U.S. troops to go invade Ukraine. Let's be fucking real. Like, I'm so sick of that. And then calling Harris the border czar. Again, she's not a border czar. She was tasked with, finding out what the situation at the border was. She was the border czar. And and you people can't allow them to get away with their disinformation campaign. Now she's trying to say she wasn't really involved. Again, she found out what the situation was. And this is my favorite part. Again, not mentioning that there's 7 million people arrested at the border. But when you do say that, you say it like it's the Democrats' fault for it happening. Again, if I was there, build the wall. They know not to come. They just know not to come. But then you tout how many arrests you had. So they were coming anyway. Sorry. Today he really, last night broke my brain. Like, hearing so much of his just pontification, and you just get dumber with each one, and it went for 2 hours. So, yeah. Trump also chastised Harris pledging over the weekend in Nevada to end taxes on tips. Yeah, he was pissed off because that was my thing. That was my thing. I said that. Yeah, except weird how you didn't do that, and you actually made it harder to hide your tips from your boss. Yeah, weird how some of us actually look at the policy that you signed into law and then analyze it and go, oh, you're telling me that this thing that he's campaigning on, he's lying about? I mean, you could say the same about any politician, but this guy, come on, he lies like everybody says it now. It's the thing to say. He lies like it's breathing. All right. Trump also praised Musk for his toughness and his tough business practices, specifically breaking strikes at his business. Again, with the UAW and the popular and how popular unions are and pro-worker sentiment is in the country right now, that's a great move politically. Yeah. You walk in and you just say, "You want to quit?" They go on strike. I won't mention the company, but they go on strike, and you say, "That's okay. You're all gone. You're all gone. Fired." And you're just the greatest. Again, yeah, super pro worker, huh? Wow. Musk has previously made donations to a mix of Republicans and Democrats, according to disclosures by the FEC. His last disclosed political donation was made in November 2020, an election cycle when he wrote checks to both Senators Susan Collins and Chris Coons, among others. In the midterms before, Musk wrote a check for $33,900 for the Republican and Democrat House campaign arms. Again, the reason he's doing that is to make sure who's ever setting the policy for Tesla is favorable to him. Like, he's still doing it. He's literally sitting here talking about drill baby drill with Trump, but then he's still begging for subsidies for his electric cars. I mean, again, how anybody takes this guy seriously really does just break my brain. Like, it's just like... And then they unironically make him their hero. Like, people who are Musk fanboys, again, just... They must be... I mean, who are they, really? They got to be, like, what, 13-year-olds that fancy themselves politically active? There's a lot of that now, though. I have... the billionaire is now backing the new super PAC to support Trump, and this one's dangerous, because he's essentially purging voter rolls. Should be worse than him, because she's a believer in the radical left, and he wasn't. I think you're right. I love how that's the end of the article. I think you're right. Big brain take. Such a big brain take. Yeah, the Guardian just pretty much said more of the same. So, let's check in with our boy and pondering politics and see what he's got to say.
I mean, it sounds like two high school girls.
And I told him things that what I do, and he said, "No way." And I said, "Way."
I said,
the way
"Way."
he recounts these conversations.
And I said, "Way." I mean, he said, "No way." And I said, "Way." It's
is one more demonstration that he's just not fit to be
I was trying to be like, it's like the holy word of God.
Deranged right-wing billionaire Elon Musk had an interview with another deranged right-wing billionaire, Donald Trump, and it was disastrous both in terms of substance and technicality, and we have to talk about it. But before we do, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go.
Sorry, buddy. I gotta go.
All right, friends, we have several clips to talk about in this video, but we're going to start with this one here because this was by far the most engaging and substantively meaningful and honest part of Donald Trump's disastrous conversation with Elon Musk.
It was so cringe. I mean, this right here is cringe enough.
Yeah, the joke is that nobody could hear him, right? So it started out as disastrous as Ron DeSantis' campaign inauguration. I don't know if you remember that.
So people were just staring at a blank screen. They weren't even getting, like,
back in
notifications.
He also launched his campaign on Twitter or X, and it went about as well.
Oh,
USA Today has a pretty good breakdown, and we're going to get to some fact checks as well, courtesy of CNN. Trump rambles, slurs his way through Elon Musk interview. It was an unmitigated disaster. For a fascism-curious billionaire who loves cuddling up to right-wing loons, Elon Musk sure is good at making right-wing politicians look stupid. Trump had loudly trumpeted a planned Monday night interview with Musk that would stream on X, but much like the disastrous X...
I mean, I feel like we're getting the same transcript from what we just read on Politico, oddly
platform
enough.
Launch of Ron DeSantis. The Musk-Trump interview failed to launch, leaving social media users laughing at the collective incompetence.
Is this all just
since Vice President
source
Harris
from
rose to the
the
top of the
AP?
Democratic presidential ticket last month, Trump's re-election...
Because, like, honestly, I'm actually kind of wondering this now, because USA Today especially, I've always taken them with a grain of salt, but at this, like, especially their digital page, because, like, half of their stuff is written by, like, look at this, opinion. It's always opinion. Like, that's the stuff that's always on my feed.
campaign has been flailing. His childish attacks against her aren't working. His racist comments about her mixed race heritage have repelled all but his most loyal supporters, and his vice presidential pick, J.D. Vance, has become less likable every time he speaks. So his answer weirdly
I mean, I can't sum it up better.
was to sit down with Musk and talk about what would undoubtedly be a very online audience that doesn't represent the broader electorate. Had the conversation gone off without a hitch, it would still have been odd and largely useless for Trump's efforts to halt Vice President Harris's momentum. But the online interview went off the rails with a multitude of hitches. Ex-users erupted with either frustration or laughter as the planned start time passed and nothing could be accessed. It took more than
His own fans were laughing at him.
40 minutes before the interview could start and be heard
I
by
mean,
anyone.
come on.
It was amateur hour, and the last thing a campaign struggling to project
The other thing
competence
is, like,
needed.
let's be real.
In May
The
2020
people that weren't like, you know, the famous faces on that screen, they're just the terminally online right wing like people, and us, you know, the ones who are analyzing all this. I think I just spit on my desk, ew.
when DeSantis' presidential campaign premiered
Ew.
at the glitch-tastic interview with Musk on what was then called Twitter, Trump mocked the debacle. Writing on social media, the DeSantis Twitter launch is a disaster. His whole campaign will be a disaster. Watch. On behalf of DeSantis, allow me to say this. Of course, things didn't get better for Trump once the interview was able to proceed. He was rambling,
the fact that
babbling on about
DeSantis
crowd
didn't
sizes
chime
and
in,
immigration.
that was a missed opportunity, man. Because for, again, a party that prides itself on being strong, they cower to this guy. And that's my favorite part about watching J.D. Vance, and also seeing how they're not able to project this strength. And they just, he did. Oh my God, I just read that. He sounded like a disoriented racist Daffy Duck. He really did.
Biden, whatever else seemed to pass through his mind. He was so badly slurring his words, raising questions about his health, and doing nothing to knock down rising
it was so
concerns
weird.
about his age and
It was
well-being.
so weird.
He sounded like a disoriented racist Daffy Duck. Musk, meanwhile, has the interviewing skills of a stoned introvert. He did little but cheerlead Trump and agreed to any kind of odd right-wing tangents you'd expect from a man too rich to ever be told to pipe down. Okay, so it goes on like this, and we're going to play some examples. So one of the standout examples that's gone viral is Trump talking about a conversation he allegedly had with Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. This is audio from the interview with Musk in which Trump recounts the story.
And again, I said to Vladimir Putin, I said, don't do it. You can't do it, Vladimir. You do it, it's going to be a bad day.
Hold on.
You cannot do it.
I want to get the whole slurring madness here, because really, I mean, I want everybody to hear what I was hearing.
And I told him things that what I do, and he said, no way. And I said, way.
And I said, way.
That's real. That's not satire. That's real. That was, Sylvester the cat, suckering succotash and stuff like that. Trump getting his way, slurring his way through this ridiculous conversation. And that's how he recounts a foreign policy conversation he had with a Russian dictator. Now,
I love watching bullies get bullied.
John Bolton,
because
they
just
Donald Trump's national
they
security
cry, they
advisor,
cower,
a
they
lifelong
always
conservative
have nothing.
Republican, somebody who's
Bullies
worked
are like the
diligently and
weakest
loyally
people.
for Republican presidents.
They're the
including
weakest
Trump.
people. They just
He was asked about that conversation and Trump's recounting of it after the Musk interview on CNN, and this is what John Bolton, an expert who worked personally with and for Donald Trump and is an expert on national security and foreign policy, this is what he had to say.
What do you make of one, just that story, but also Trump's argue of how much influence he has on the Russian leader?
Well, I think Trump's making that up.
All right. To be clear, this guy is one of the most reprehensible human beings in America, and he is the ultimate cheerleader of the war with Iran. So, like, oh boy, he's seething at the mouth right now. We're about to go. I gotta get back in the White House so I can like. That's always the weird thing. Like, he pushes for that, and then you're just like, why do you want that so much? Perhaps you have investments in Halliburton?
He certainly didn't have that conversation with Putin when I was in the White House. I don't believe he had it before then. I can't really speak to what came after. But this is another case of Trump making things up that it's hard to prove or disprove. He can say he had some private conversation at a dinner at a G20 meeting or something like that. I don't think it happened.
Like the helicopter going down, where he said that he was with the mayor of San Francisco that dated Kamala Harris, and it turned out to not be him and a totally different black guy that he totally, I don't, they don't all look alike to me. What are you talking about?
And I don't think that there was really an occasion for Trump to have that conversation, but it fits the persona that Trump thinks he has.
The fact that we're all just like, yeah, this is normal.
Trump and Putin together on several occasions, having listened into their phone conversations, having myself met Putin on any number of occasions going back to October of 2001. I think that Putin essentially thinks that Trump is an easy mark. He doesn't respect him, but he understands that using flattery with Trump can get him a long way. I think if Trump did put together the meeting...
I've been saying this about the polls, where I really do think that he believes that he is still up in the polls because his advisors are afraid to tell him otherwise.
He wants to have between Zelensky and Putin in a room together to solve the Ukraine crisis. I think Putin would take Trump to the cleaners to Ukraine's detriment.
Well, I mean, it's an incredibly serious conversation, and obviously the Ukrainians are deeply involved, but just to hear him describing it as, I mean, it sounds like two high school girls. I told him things that what I would do, and he said, no way. And I said, way. I mean, is that how world leaders talk from your experience?
No, it's...
And then I was just like, way, man. What do you think, Mr. President?
It's not even how Donald Trump talks. It's how he wished he talked and how he wished he could show that he's the big alpha guy. But this is imagination on Trump's part. And it shows he really doesn't understand what's at stake here. He knows very little history. He certainly knows next to nothing about the history of Ukraine and Russia, which is deeply complicated even for experts. So to me, the way he recounts these conversations is...
It's actually quite simple. It's quite simple indeed. Ukraine is just on the land that Russia wants. Russia's the bigger country. We should give it to Russia because they were nicer to me.
It's one more demonstration that he's just not fit to be president
today.
That's brutal. That is from Donald Trump's own conservative Republican national security advisor, one of the members of the senior staff, a cabinet level official in the Trump administration, one of many, one of dozens.
Kind of weird that
who will not endorse him for a second term.
You would want him
so fascinating.
in power again. Weird.
This is so important.
It's weird.
That are watching this.
Like this is the important part that we need to really focus on. I'm going to back out from his video because I'm good on that. We do need to focus on making sure that we don't just become complacent with this stuff, because as funny as it is, as much as ridiculous as it is, it's just so, like, number one, we're still far enough out that I think that people's short memories, even with this, people go right up until October, and then all of us, like the magic centrist, independent voter, uncommitted, magically wakes up on November 4th, or, the day before. Let's say the day before. And they go, I still don't know. They're just so different, but they might as well be the same person. I've heard that one before, literally. Just because they have politician, it's just, okay. And it's like, oh, thank you for that great, well thought out take. Again, it's kind of like, that's just the most, should just be left unsaid. We get it. Politicians suck. They do. They just inherit. In order for you to actually want to become a politician, you have to have compromised morals. It has to be about you in some way. But, in rare cases, people actually do truly believe in what they're preaching. The scary ones are the right-wingers that are just like, no, we want an authoritarian theocracy. That's what we want. We want a Christian nation run by a dictator. That should be absolutely terrifying to every American that actually calls themselves, in any way a patriot. But, whatever. I don't want to be the one to go criticizing people that I don't know too much. That's just a complete lie. Anyway, well, I think we did it. I think that we got everything that we could possibly get from the Elon Trump debacle. I mean, everybody's calling it a debacle, so this will be fun. I'm excited to see the fallout from this. So, you know the deal. Like, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.